Now, I don't usually gossip, but if there's tea, you know I'm gonna spill it. Welcome back to Chronicles Speaks. Please, I don't have the time or patience for any mess right now. Yes, we got to man. Sometimes I feel like I missed my calling as a publicist, because there are moments when I just want to tell a client, sit your $5 ass down before I make change. And apparently that's the energy Diddy had when he allegedly told his family after the verdict, "I'm coming home, baby." And to be fair, he kind of is. Diddy was cleared of the most serious charge, RICO, along with sex trafficking of both Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe. But here's the twist. He was found guilty on 2 counts, one for transporting Cassie and one for transporting Jane across state lines for the purpose of prostitution or illegal sexual activity. Each of those charges carries a maximum of 10 years, totaling 20 years, behind bars. And today at 5 p.m. the judge laid out potential sentencing guidelines and officially denied Diddy's bail, which we'll break down in a moment. Judge Subramanian also locked in the sentencing date. We're diving into all of that and more. But before we do, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update on this case or any others we cover. Now, back to it. In the United States versus Sean Combs. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. Count 2, sex trafficking Cassie, not guilty. Count 3, transporting Cassie for prostitution, guilty. Count 4, sex trafficking Jane, not guilty. Count 5, transporting Jane for prostitution, guilty. Now, a lot of people are confused. How can someone be cleared of sex trafficking but still be guilty of transporting for prostitution? Well, here's the key. To convict for trafficking, prosecutors had to prove Diddy used force, fraud, coercion, or that the victim was a minor and he knowingly forced them into a commercial sex act. The jury didn't buy that. They didn't believe he coerced Cassie or Jane, or that he met the legal definition of trafficking, but transporting for prostitution. That's easier to prove. The law just needed proof that Diddy knowingly moved someone across state lines intending for them to engage in prostitution even if it was consensual. No force, no coercion required. So bottom line, the jury believed Diddy moved women across state lines for sex. That's why he was hit with those 2 charges. Now at 5 p.m., the courtroom filled back up. At 4:59 p.m., Diddy's lawyers, Brian Steele and Jason Driscoll, are seen congratulating each other. Agnolo is back in the holding area with Diddy, while Diddy's family sits silently in the second row of the gallery. At 5:04, his legal team, including Ignapolo, Alexander Shapiro, and Tiny Jaros, step out from the holding cell, waiting for Diddy to be brought in. At 5:09, Sean Combs walks back into the courtroom, takes a seat next to Tiny Jaros, quietly reading a document. Ignal steps up to the lectern, then back to his seat. Prosecutors are already at the front table. Everyone's just waiting. Then Judge Subramanian enters and says, "I've read the parties' submissions and others. The jury has convicted the defendant on counts 3 and 5. Here's why." And he moves straight into the decision on bail. Denied. Yup, Diddy was asking the court for bail, a whole $1 million bail, at that, and the judge hit him with a solid no. Let's break down exactly why. The judge said even if the requirement was proving Diddy isn't a danger to the community, he still wouldn't pass. The court already denied him bail before the trial and sees no reason to change that now. Even Diddy's own defense acknowledged his violent behavior. They referenced the Cassie Ventura hotel video, calling it a terrible moment. The defense called it domestic violence. But that wasn't all. There was the London hotel incident. And then there were violent outbursts following searches at Diddy's property. Regarding Jane, there was another incident in June 2024, after Diddy's home was searched again. All of this, according to the court, shows a pattern of violence and disregard for the law. The judge said, "This court takes no stance yet on sentencing, but the burden is on him, and he hasn't met it." Now, the defense argued that sentencing guidelines should start at 21 months. The government, they're pushing for 51 months. Diddy has already served 10 months so far. The judge scheduled the sentencing hearing for Friday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. and said he's open to speeding it up. Ignal responded, "We'd like it expedited." Judge replied, "Okay, but I'll need a rushed pre-sentencing report from probation. Let me know by July 8th at noon, and we'll hold a hearing that same afternoon." Now, Diddy's legal team tried pushing their case even further. They said this case is nothing like other Mann Act cases. They argued that in past cases, defendants were either profiting millions or exploiting minors, and Diddy's situation is different. They referenced previous rulings like United States versus Dillon, and even brought up a case involving a former New York governor and a club. Ignal also claimed that back in June 2024, Diddy was actually defending himself and tried enrolling in a batterer's intervention program, something the jury never even heard about. But by then, he'd already been arrested, and now, months later, he's still facing serious time. His lawyers emphasized he's been a model inmate, caused no issues, and is looking forward to the next chapter of his life. They said, "Facing a RICO charge makes you question everything. Even reading birthday messages from Misa made me emotional." Diddy's 2 daughters sat in the second row, their mother no longer here. The court was reminded that a user of prostitution services was convicted under the Mann Act, even if not found guilty of trafficking. The defense wanted to submit a bail package with specific conditions, but the judge cut it short. Bail application denied. The court now waits for a joint proposal on expedited sentencing. With a hearing set for Tuesday at 2 p.m., court is adjourned. Now let's talk sentencing, because that's what everyone's asking. How much time is Diddy really facing? Based on federal guidelines, the government calculated an offense level of 24 with no prior criminal record. That gives a sentence range of 51 to 63 months, around 4 to 5 years. But prosecutors might add coercion enhancements, which could bump the level up by 4 points, increasing the sentence to 78 to 97 months, that's 6.5 to 8 years. And I'll end this with a statement from Cassie, Ventura's lawyer, Douglas Wigder. This criminal case all started when Cassie had the courage to file her civil complaint back in November 2023. Though the jury didn't convict Diddy of sex trafficking beyond a reasonable doubt, her decision to come forward gave the jury enough to find him guilty of transporting for prostitution. Cassie made a lasting impact, both on the industry and the pursuit of justice. We stand by her. Her strength and voice exposed how powerful men have gotten away with misconduct for decades. This verdict proves that change is overdue and we're not done fighting. What do you think about how this all played out? Do you believe Diddy's actually going to serve 6 to 7 years, or will it be way less? Drop your thoughts in the comments. You all know how we do. We'll keep this conversation going down below. Talk soon. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a single update. Bye for now.